Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full House Games. You're joining us for round 3, where we have Pratik on the left, kicking off to a flying start, with the Sensei's Divining Top, and he is, of course, playing Miracles against Adrian, our resident king of the hill, and we are Caleb, that is me, and joining us here is Jonathan Winter.
How's it?
So, what's this matchup like in terms of percentages?
Oh, jeez. Let me just whip out my calculator. Miracles is tier 1. I think Mud is not. So I'm going to go with Miracles having a favourable matchup. Okay. Assuming they can counter the important spells, then it's it should be relatively easy for Miracles to win. But that said, they don't win very quickly, so Brown Man has a chance to draw into some bombs during the course of the match.
Okay.
The good news for Adrian, of course, is that counterbalance isn't very good.
Yeah, counterbalance with such a wide variety of deck casting cost. It's a little bit underemphasized. And of course Golem, I would assume. And this is definitely an Eater Force of Will.
No, I don't think Transfer is that big of a deal for Miracles. Because it is a slow deck, so you just as long as you can play your land drops, you're not that fussed about it.
Yeah, but I guess you want to be able to play your land drops, but also, yeah, Golem, there it is. Thanks, Adrian. You also want to be able to, play your counter spells if required. Like it does make all counter spells cost 3 mana, so...
Yeah. But, I guess it depends on how hard Adrian ramps. As long as it's both players are playing about one important spell a turn.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite slow at the moment.
So normally Miracles would be in position A right now, but of course Adrian has some very weird converted mana cost cards in his deck.
Yep.
Not to mention Cabinet of Souls on Golem.
Yeah. And revealing Snapcaster, which is interesting. Didn't think Miracles ran too many snappies.
No, they don't run 4. I think it's like a 2-off type of thing.
Ah, okay. So just sort of a lucky rip on top then.
It's just the late game spell.
Yeah. How do you think? How do you feel about Miracles, being that it's not your spicy, noxious brew?
I think Miracles is obviously very good, but I don't like it when Miracles is played by someone who is, I guess, doesn't know what they're doing. Because
okay. Are you suggesting that Pratik doesn't? Or
no,
just
Pratik is the ideal player to be playing Miracles.
Okay.
But
just to clear that up.
First of all, it's I think it's the one of the, if not the most difficult deck to play, because you have to
most definitely
you have to be thinking about sequencing the top of your deck with Top and Brainstorm, all the time, and there's so many permutations for what order you put things in, but the other thing is, because of you're activating Top so much, you have to play quickly to kind of keep the pace up. So nothing is worse when you're playing against a slow player who did Pratik just...
just entreated, yeah.
Oh, okay.
For about...
Sorry, that game
6.
went by pretty quick.
Which is something you want, yeah?
Anyway, so... What was I saying? Yeah. You can really annoy your opponent with Miracles if you play slowly, especially when you're ahead and your opponent is hoping to rip something, so...
Yeah.
I think if you're playing Miracles, very good deck, but just you just got to be considerate.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You have to know what you're doing.
Absolutely. It's sort of like a long, drawn-out Storm deck. Because
I noticed with that brew that I played for a while, with even more Miracles than usual.
Yep.
I was learning how to play the deck. I was taking a long time to finish games because I had to do so much thinking, and
there was a lot of drawing going on.
I think more than one opponent was ripping their hair out, watching me do my thing. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's sort of like coming up against eggs. Like, not a lot of people enjoy playing against eggs just because.
Yeah,
it
I mean
takes
it's
a long time.
it's an interactive deck, but it's very dirtly with the top activation. And
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
top is banned for that reason in modern.
Yeah. Where counterbalance is also banned in modern.
No, counterbalance is.
Okay.
There is no card that I'm aware of that can manipulate the top of your library, though.
Yeah, so it's not as useful. It's just sort of like, can I rip it or can't I?
Yeah. You can play Noxious Revival.
Ooh. Pretty good, actually. I played it in another deck because it's just valuable.
Yeah, that's a cool card.
Most assuredly.
I think if I ever build a Miracles deck from here on out, it will always include at least one Noxious Revival. For the lols.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Magic's a game about having fun, and regardless of what level you're playing at, even if it's competitive, if you're not enjoying yourself, then maybe it's not the game for you.
Yeah. It's fun to win, but yeah.
Yeah, that can't be the only reason you play. I mean, you could play one of a number of sports if that was the only reason you were deciding to play. And getting a delightful stare at Adrian's teddy bear there. I hope that it's not what I see in my dreams tonight. It's rather disturbing.
Pratik, on the other hand, is a fairly stock standard Garrick versus Liliana thingo going on there.
Yeah, I mean...
Although I think these days Garrick would be allied with Liliana because he's kind of joined the dark side, hasn't he?
No, he's cursed by her. He's just hunting planeswalkers now.
Oh, okay.
That's the...
I'm not really up to scratch with my...
I don't know, it's
MTG
such a great...
lore.
It's such a great storyline, and especially with Khans, just the lore behind it all is something you don't often see, but it's always very varied and interesting. And it's always fun for myself, at least, to go back in time via Wikipedia pages and whatnot, and browse through the lore, such as
I stopped reading
the Brothers' War and whatnot.
the fiction behind it back in 2002 or something when I read the novel that came with the Apocalypse box set or something, and I found it to be utterly appalling. And after that, maybe it's improved since then, but yeah. So I don't play Magic for the storyline.
No. And Pratik, starting off with a turn 1 top yet again, seems value.
Yep. And he's playing around Wasteland, obviously, so Pratik is a very good player.
Yeah.
I'm expecting him at some point or another to want to win some big event and go to the Pro Tour and announce himself to the world, but
get on the gravy train.
He's taking his sweet time about it. So Pratik, if you're listening, we're still waiting for you to
Pratik, get on the gravy train.
represent us on the international stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we certainly need more players to bring Australia up into the competitive scene. It's not like we don't have people playing, but it's certainly true that we don't really have a competitive aura around Australia. And I mean, that's something that I'd like to see.
Well, we did for a while with Jeremy Neiman, but then he's kind of stopped playing. It's difficult for a good Australian player to travel around the world, just because of the distances involved.
This is very true, but I mean, I don't know. We could always force Wizards to come out here and deal with us.
Well, that they've done. I mean, they increased our GPs from 1 to 2, so we can't complain about that. I think
No, we can't. But I mean, we can always ask for 3. One in Sydney, one in Melbourne, one in Brisbane, and sometimes one in Auckland. I mean, that'd be nice. Can you do it, Wizards? I'm sure you can. Now, this is going to be pretty bad for Pratik if he doesn't have that path to exile. Path to exile would be fine.
Okay, he's going for the lodestone, it looks like.
Okay. So that's a solid, basically, force. Yeah. Kind of has to be.
Isn't
force.
that, of course it isn't, it wasn't cast with Kevin, so...
Yeah.
Force of Will gets in there.
It's interesting. Oh, that's interesting, because of course... Metalworker is a construct, and we know that it's naming Golem. So if Adrian
that was the last game. I don't think we know for sure what that's named.
Was it? Oh, that's true. Maybe he did name Metalworker for this one. But that could have been a pretty interesting line. And did Pratik pitch a Venser? Is that what I can see over there?
I'm not sure what that is.
Venser Sojourner.
I think looks like Metalworker's getting the beats going.
I mean, why not, eh? If you don't... that's an interesting thing that Adrian's done as well. If he didn't have enough artifacts to reveal to maybe cast one of the high-costing spells, he can always just reveal the 2, and then your opponent knows less. Sometimes it's not worth revealing all of them.
This is a precarious situation for Pratik, because one big flashy spell could just take the game away in one fell swoop.
Yeah, that's true.
And we don't. Well, I mean, I guess if the Cavern is on construct, then Force of Will can, is an out.
It's a bit more active.
But if it's Golem, then if he rips a Sundering Titan, then
that being said,
big trouble.
Pratik probably has a lot of answers in the way of, top decking a...
Terminus?
Exactly.
Oh, the old... Is that the instant speed Terminus?
I don't
Pratik
know.
was explaining to me just yesterday or Tuesday that you should never put your top on top of your deck, which I disagree with. To play instant speed the miracles, but he just did it there, so I guess he agrees with me after all.
Well, he's still got top in play there.
He played another one.
Ah, right, of course.
So I guess
Well,
he'll only do it if he has 2.
Maybe you can do it if you have 2, yeah. So, beats for 2. And now 1. Yeah.
Is that going to copy?
I think he's copying
Is
the
the
land
factory
here.
an artifact? It is, so you can.
Yeah, well, it's a creature, so you can copy creatures.
Oh, of course, yeah. So
I think he meant to,
you might copy top actually.
pay for that with his underground tomb as well. Because he definitely swung with that. Oh, that's true. You could copy top. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see if he looks at the top 3 cards of his deck.
No, he's made a factory with it because it's in his land pile.
Very interesting that Pratik is playing his lands face forward or at the front, and Adrian is playing his lands at the back, but very much towards the middle of his playmat as well.
Yeah.
And here you get blown out by a Terminus, if Pratik has one. Which Looks like he doesn't, so Terminus is not going to be bad.
Yes. Looks like maybe he pulled the trigger on that Terminus too soon.
It was in the upkeep too, which was interesting for me to see. Well, in my mind, it was interesting how that was done. I don't know. I guess he could have kept it, and since it was instant speed, even if Adrian fetched something relevant, it could have dealt with it. I guess. Like what can you really, like, even if he got a cool Dolphin Forge Master and ripped the perfect card, you've got that instant speed Terminus. So
yeah.
Like, what are you worried about? I guess.
Yeah. Sundering Titan, I guess, is what you're worried about.
That's true. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Sundering Titan is an issue. But Kuldoltha Forge Master is going to prove that to us by fetching it now.
Yeah, it seems like the most potent bomb against him, yeah.
Yeah. Bomb.
So, it's
Whoop.
just...
there it is.
Yeah, it's just a card where even if you have the answer digs you deeper into the hole.
Yeah, it's so brutal to just drop.
You kind of need to stifle that ability to have a chance.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, that wouldn't be a terrible play there. Out of curiosity, is it a... Whoop, straight over my head. Sundering Titan legal in Modern?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a card played in Tron decks?
Sometimes.
Okay. More of a sideboard card, is it? Or?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think it's probably a bit slow in Modern because control decks have a hard time. Like, the only deck it smashes is blue-white red control.
Right. So it would definitely be more of a sideboard card then,
yeah.
if you were to run it at all. Adrian helpfully pointing out that Pratik is probably running into Sundering Titan there, if he's going to Terminus it. But I mean, if you need the blue, then you need the blue, right? So there's nothing you can do about it. The worst part is it's not even a legendary. Ugh. Actually, that's probably a good part. Probably wouldn't be too great if you were like, here's another Sundering Titan. Let's crush another 4 of your lands, minimum.
Yeah.
Or
so yeah, this I wonder how many he's got in his deck. He probably only has one, maybe 2 Sundering Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen 2 matches now against Miracles, and it's been his game plan both times.
Yeah, so maybe it is one of the sideboard cards that he's got in there just to rip out and wreck shop with, because it's pretty good for everything but playing against Mod. So if there's nothing that, Mod and Manaless Dredge, but even against Manaless Dredge, it's a 7/10 body. So like, what deals with a 7/10 body? I like that they didn't make it a 10/10 too. They had to like, costs 8 mana. It's got this good ability, so we'll drop the power by 1. So it's not exactly on curve.
When they designed it, they would have made it something like an 8/8, and then decided. See, that doesn't make sense to me because
strong.
When you design a creature's power,
yeah,
you have to look at what the clock is, right? On a 20-point life total, and 8 and 7 is the same amount. So maybe they made it a 7/7 and decided it needed more toughness. It's just it's an odd combination.
Maybe it was a 10/10, and then they decided that was too strong, so we had to dial it down a bit. So
dial it down to the lowest number that
still provides a 3/10 clock.
That is 3/10 clock. Yeah. That sounds like the most likely scenario. But it's surprising that they wouldn't have made it a 7/7 and keeping the 10 toughness.
Yeah, but why would it need 10 toughness above 7? Like, in my mind, it's a...
Yeah.
Like, nothing even comes
Dodge
close.
3 lightning bolts.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Gotta have the
Oh,
fourth
God,
lightning
it
bolt.
doesn't... Yeah. That's gross. What? Ripping it early. That is a very, very quick metalworker there, and it's going to get some work done. I did not mean to say that. Oh god. So Pratik can probably force this. If he has a force, that's maybe what you want.
Swords would be the best.
Yeah, Swords of Plowshares would be your alternative option there.
Was he topping in his upkeep?
Yeah,
Looking
of course.
desperately for the answer.
Playing miracles. You're always topping your upkeep.
No, not always. Usually, if you're topping in your upkeep, means
in the first couple turns, you want to kind of set up your...
Yeah,
your draws.
no, only if you're really looking for a land or something like that.
Okay.
So
That's pretty brutal.
wow.
Okay.
What is that? 12 mana.
It is. So if you're Adrian, do you drop the Trinisphere first and make him counter it? Or do you drop the Lodestone Golem first and make him counter it? And then drop the Trinisphere, knowing that he
Take
then
your
can't
pick,
play
doesn't
anything?
matter. I think it's way too much action.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on, right? But that's the interesting thing. If Pratik wants to counter one of them, he's going to have to counter Trinisphere. And if he wants to counter both of them, he's going to have 2 forces.
It's gone with the Trinisphere.
He's gone with the Trinisphere first, so he wants the body, basically. It's interesting. I'm down with it. Excuse me. And Adrian, obviously, with no land in hand, so if Pratik did rip that Swords to Plowshares, it would have been game.
He's got 5 mana floating, I think.
That sounds about right. 5 mana, so you drop Lodestone, or you just untap your Basalt Monolith and say go. I mean, what even is mana, anyway, at this stage to Adrian?
Pratik's such an awkward spot, because you can't get a Plains, right? Because Forge Master... Well, he has to get a Plains and hope to get swords going. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much. Too much to do.
You're right. You have to rip Swords to Plowshares and just Swords to Plowshares.
Because you can't Terminus at the moment.
Called Altar. You have to basically have an extra land in hand, Swords to Plowshares, and then a Terminus on top. So, like, Swords now, Terminus, and your extra land has to not be a fetch, so you can cast it. Oof.
He's got a Terminus there. Such a unfortunate thing about the Trinisphere. He could put the Terminus on top and then do an instant speed. He's got that new spell there.
Will of the Council?
Yeah, so you could do that on Forge Master.
Yeah, that'll do it if he's got the extra land. Again, I'm not too impressed by Trinisphere, unfortunately. It's such a dangerous card. Yeah, he basically has to deal with Kuldolf.
If he doesn't have double white, he's gonna... I think the play is to, in your opponent's upkeep, use top to instant speed the Terminus. But that's going to give him an opportunity to activate Forge Master, obviously, so... looks like he's going to go with the Will of the Council.
Yeah, you really don't want to. But even if... Like, if you had it, why would you hold off on Terminusing now?
Well, you can't Terminus, obviously, in your upkeep because you only got 2 mana, and if you do it in your opponent's upkeep, then you give him an activation where you could just get the Sunring Titan.
I see. Yeah. My apologies. I totally forgot about that. The fact that he only had 3, and Trinisphere is obviously a bitch. So basically you have to Will of the Council now.
Yeah. And we know he's got another one, so...
and then blind rip.
So,
that's
assuming
swords-
he put the Terminus on top, I think he...
That's a Swords to Plowshares. So
Oh, was it?
he's still got Will of the Council, I believe.
So, if I was Pratik, I would have put that Terminus second from the top, so you can...
Well, he had to fetch, so
Oh, did he?
yeah. He's fetched 3
Oh,
times.
of course.
Yeah. But that puts a bit of a damper on the plans. Adrian revealing 3 artifacts there. One is another Kuldoltha. One is obviously that Lodestone Golem that we saw before. Oh, I know a line that Adrian could take. Maybe? Yes? No? That depends. Okay. We could see an infinite combo from Adrian if he manages to rip another artifact, another 2 artifacts at this stage. I think you need 3 in hand to make 6 mana for a Staff of Dominion loop.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I can't remember how it works. All I know is it's a great game over.
You pay 4 mana to untap Metalworker and Staff of Dominion, and then if you have 6 mana in pool, you can go infinite by making lots of mana.
Yeah.
And then you can draw cards off Staff of Dominion and tap down all their creatures and then swing for lethal because you get a Blister, Blight Steel Colossus, Blister Stick. What am I even on?
It looks like Pratik is just screwed because he doesn't have... I thought he might have that Will of the Council in hand, but he doesn't, and because of Trinisphere he can't really...
Yeah.
He can only play 1 spell.
So do you think he might have brainstormed it away, or... No,
I
brainstorm.
can't remember what happened. He
What
kept
card
1
was
card
it?
from the 3 that he looked at the last turn and then shuffled the other 2 away, so... Maybe Swords was the other one, and he kept that one and shuffled Terminus and...
I think if you Pratik, you really need to keep the second Swords. Like, you need as many single target exiles as you can possibly get, and while you're just hoping for your Terminus. That is a value ponder. 3 mana for draw a card and look at the top 3 and maybe shuffle them if you're lucky. I don't know. I mean, it's...
So I think Adrian now has him at his mercy.
Yeah, I think you just either fetch a Sundering Titan again, and I mean that means he can't play any spells, or I think Ponder was not the right thing to do. Maybe
That was his only option, I think.
I mean he could, if he knew what was on top already, which he didn't. I guess he could maybe.
What on earth is Adrian doing?
I believe he's looking up Oracle text for a card. Because there are no other judges in the room. Which is a great way to do it. I mean, you know. So... Man, Trinisphere clearly has to be banned, or not banned, but restricted in Vintage. Just
Is it?
because it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Just because it is so powerful. Like, if you go Black Lotus Trinisphere after dropping all your Moxen,
Yeah.
and then
It's
just
not much fun.
laugh all the way to the bank because your opponent can't play anything, it's pretty shitty. Feels bad, man.
So is that infinite combo about to hit?
Yeah, this is the Staff of Dominion Infinite combo. You know, draw all my cards. I'd kill all your stuff. Infinite mana. And there's the handshake from Pratik. He knows what's up. And that means we'll be going on to round 4 with our resident king of the hill, Adrian. So please stay tuned to Magic and More for Full House Games. Please stay tuned to Full House Games for Magic and More.